everyone, it's Front Row Phyllis celebrating its 25th year anniversary, the #1 longest running American musical in Broadway history, 6 Tonys, 2 Oliver Awards, a Grammy, and makes Broadway shimmer, shake, and all that jazz. I'm talking about Chicago, the musical, and we are thrilled to have joining us today some of the cast, Katie Frieden, who plays Roxy Hart, and Jeff Brooks, who plays Billy Flynn. Welcome, both of you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to Chicago in Chicago. We're so excited. So 25 years. What does it feel like to be a part of a musical during its big anniversary tour?
Well, speaking for me, it's such an honor to be a part of this legacy. The revival happened 26 years ago now at this point, and the show originated back in the 70s. So it's been 50 years of this show going on. So to be part of this show and the legacy and so many iconic people who have played the roles and who are just a part of the show of Chicago, it's such an honor.
Yeah, the way what Katie said, there's a lineage to shows like this that have been around, and when you become a part of this show, you really become a part of that lineage, like a family tree almost.
Wow. I have to say, how do you prepare for a show and a tour like this? Like everything from, staying in shape to fueling your body to, let's not forget about our mindset. So what goes into that? What do you guys do to prepare for all of this?
Deep dish pizza.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I think each of us have our own things that we have to do for ourselves to be prepared for the show. So some of us have more extensive vocal warm-ups, or make sure they go to the gym or get enough sleep. But then also making sure that we take the time for ourselves, whether it's exploring cities, just to make sure that we're still being humans and checking in with ourselves.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the day, the show day, is when we get to the theater, the entire company has a mandatory warm-up that we all do together. And we start with a vocal warm-up together, and we all stretch together, and we're all in the same space together before we get ready for the show. So it's a nice coming together moment.
I was going to ask that. I was talking to, I think it was the girls at Wicked, and when they were in town, and that was something that was really important to them because they really don't see anybody. You're so isolated, like for hours upon hours. And that was something that was really important to them, is that they made sure that every single night, or if they had 2 performances, they would always check in with each other to make sure that they were okay. And I thought that was such an incredible piece, because people don't realize that you guys are really isolated. You're on stage with a bunch of people, but you're really backstage in your rooms a lot more hours. And right.
Well, the reality of it is we are essentially the Broadway National Tour. So we're very much like the Broadway show in New York, right down to the floorboards. It's the exact same set, the same choreo. But in New York, those casts go home to their friend circles, their families at night, and we're all traveling together. Our family is the 60 people we have on the road with us. Right. And we share hotels and airports with them, and buses sometimes. And so when we go to work, we're going to work with our family.
Right. Which is good and bad, because if you've met my family, I'm just saying. I'm just going to throw that out there. So you guys get, I say at least an hour off, probably a day off. You don't get a lot of time. What are some things, we talked about this a little bit off camera, but what are some things that you guys like to do when you check out different cities, and especially here in Chicago?
Yeah. One of my favorite things is to go to different coffee shops or just walk around some of the streets. Like yesterday, I just walked around for a few hours, just to, I saw the Bean and to do all the touristy things. But and then I ask friends who are in Chicago that are from here, recommendations, just exploring and taking in the city.
Yeah.
I'm a diner guy. I like diner breakfast. I always try to track down a nice breakfast spot in the morning.
Okay.
And Katie and I send pictures of pastries back and forth.
Yeah, we
You
did.
did.
We try to
Yeah.
one up each other.
So Katie, I was reading that you were in a Bridgerton experience.
Mhm.
So can you tell us about that? It sounded, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I got to tell you, it sounded amazing.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So I did it this past summer in Washington, D.C., where I'm from. They hired local dancers and actors. And it was a completely immersive experience led by the same group that does the Van Gogh experience. That's
Okay.
well known. And people got to come and attend the Queen's Ball as if they were in the show of Bridgerton. And there was a dance by Daphne and Simon characters, which I got to play the Daphne role. And it was beautiful dancing, a lot of waltzing, a little bit of swinging on the chandelier, which was really fun.
Wow.
But it was a really neat experience for me because all of my performing has been on a stage and where I'm a little bit more removed from the audience. So to be like right there with them and them surrounded, it was a very cool experience.
That is awesome. Now, Jeff, you were also busy too. You were ashore for 6 months.
I was on a ship for 7, actually.
Wow. So
Yeah.
tell us about that.
God, what a time! What a time! I worked for a cruise line. I was a performer on a cruise line, and we went to the Baltic, and I saw 15 different countries in the Baltic. And got to come face to face with the understanding that I'm not a big fan of deep water.
No.
And I found that out in the first week we were out on the water.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, so that was it was an interesting experience. It took a lot of getting used to, but it really is like to be able to see those countries and to be able to walk around Estonia and Amsterdam and Copenhagen. It was really wonderful. Like going to a sauna in Helsinki was like one of my top 5 favorite things I've ever done.
Wow.
It was
That's
really
pretty
good.
amazing. You know, can you guys take our viewers? What does a typical day look like on tour? And I'm sure they're probably different.
Well, I mean, be more specific. A typical day of driving or a typical day of doing a show?
Doing a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know I wake up around like 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if that's true for Katie.
No. No. I wake up much later.
Usually I get up around 8. I have breakfast somewhere, and then between 10 and noon, I am either playing the guitar or writing emails or doing whatever work or admin stuff I need to do at home. Then I get a workout in the middle of the day. Usually grab dinner around like 4 or 5, and then it's off to the theater.
Okay.
One of the things that I really enjoy about tour is that I don't really think there's so much of a typical day. Most days are very different because it just depends on what our weeks look like. Sometimes we're in a place for a week at a time. Here, we're so lucky to be here for 2 weeks. Sometimes we're only in a place a few nights or even one night. And so a lot of that with the travel and how our bodies are feeling and everything that's going on, I think it just kind of affects how we approach that day. So for me, no day is really the same.
Okay.
And people have different approaches. Like I need to have a pattern or else I feel like I'm not getting myself to the right place before the show. But like if you go out and explore a city, you never know where that's going to take you. So
Absolutely. Wow. Well, you know, guys, thank you again. And you don't want to miss Chicago playing for just a limited engagement now through January 29th at the CIBC Theater. Thank you guys again. Great meeting you and can't wait for tonight.
thank you so much.